So one day I was texting some of my friends. We were talking for a while and eventually they mentioned cross country and how they were thinking about joining. I didn't think I would be involved in cross country at all because I was already planning on playing softball for the high school, but after miserably flunking the softball tryouts, I decided, hey, why not? And I joined cross country because of my friends. We paid the dues, bought the shoes, and I showed up to my first day of practice. I remember we had to run 2 laps around the track as a warm-up, which is about half a mile. That doesn't sound so bad, right? Wrong. After running just the warm-up, I was dead. I barely made it around twice. This isn't good. How am I supposed to survive a whole season when I can barely make it through the warm-up on the first day? I was starting to second-guess myself. We had practice every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 7:30 a.m. during summer conditioning. At first, it was really hard. I could barely run a mile without having to stop. I felt lightheaded and I'd be gasping for air. However, as I started to run more, I got used to it. It never got easy, but it got much more tolerable than it was before. Over time, I grew to actually like running. It brought a lot of positive benefits. I was in good shape, I had a better appetite, and I could even sleep better. I love summer conditioning. I love running 3 days out of the week in the mornings. Before I knew it, summer conditioning ended and the first day of school rolled around. I met my teachers for the first time and they all pretty much introduced the class and expectations. Then I got to culinary arts. Wait, the teacher looks kind of familiar. I must be having deja vu or something, I don't know. Then after school, we had our first day of official practice. I walked to the pavilion where the rest of my teammates and the coaches were. There were 5 coaches on the cross-country team. The head coach, a coach for A group, B group, and C group, and also a strength training coach. Wait, now I know why my culinary arts teacher looks so familiar. She's also the A group coach. I remembered seeing her during summer conditioning. I was in C group because I was new to the team and I was also not good at running. I would run at an 11-minute pace and have to walk often. The time I got on my first 5K was 30 minutes. We started having practice every single day after school, and so we would record our runs on an app called Strava. With Strava, you can log your mileage, pace, and add a small description about your run. There was this one kid on the cross-country team who would write a whole paragraph in the small description section. Sometimes it was really motivational, sometimes it was funny, and honestly, I look forward to reading his motivational paragraphs. He would always end them with "stay hard." My running skills improved a lot during the summer, but once we started having practice on a daily basis, I found my running ability declining rather than getting better. My shins were constantly in pain, and I would be sore all the time without a period of time to recover from it. I thought it was normal and tried to run through the pain, but my shins kept protesting. I had a talk with the head coach, and he said it sounded like shin splints, so I took a few days off. Once I got back, the pain had gone away enough so that I could run without discomfort in my shins, but soon it came back. I realized that I wouldn't ever be able to get rid of this pain if I continued to overwork myself, but there wasn't really anything I could do since I couldn't keep missing practice. We would have meets maybe about once a week. I would get 30-ish minutes on all of my 5Ks, no matter how much experience I got. I remember getting up at 4 a.m. to go to a cross-country meet 2 hours away, and then I placed nearly last. Although I wasn't good, the meets were fun. The whole team was so supportive. They would cheer you on no matter what. They would also have these little hype circles where we would share what our goal times were and chant and laugh as a team. We would also do small fun events throughout cross-country. The girls on the team would do this thing called Secret Sister, which was basically like Secret Santa, but with smaller gifts. We would bring a drink or a snack for our Secret Sister every Friday, and we would all get something in return. I look forward to Fridays because not only did we get something from our Secret Sister, but it was also Fun Sock Friday. We would wear goofy or cute socks and it would be fun. I always wore socks with my dog Joey on them on Fridays. After school started, we had practice every single day. On top of that, we had strength training with the strength training coach every Monday and Wednesday. On top of that, I joined rec softball, which was going on during the same time as cross country, because I still wanted to play even though I wasn't good enough to play for the school. On top of that, I joined a few clubs. Finally, on top of that, I had so much schoolwork to do. I had a lot of responsibilities since I did so many things, and at first I thought I was prepared enough to handle it all, but it soon got very overwhelming. Running 3 to 4 miles daily, doing strength training after sometimes, going to softball practice right after, then coming home late with loads of schoolwork was no joke. I did this for 2 months. I tried so hard to make everything work, to keep on saying that I could do it all, but I couldn't avoid the truth. I was so burnt out. I started missing cross-country practice. I would have softball after school some days and club meetings on others. I should have at least emailed the coach and let him know where I was, but I was irresponsible. Until one day, my actions came back to me. I was walking home after a club meeting instead of going to cross-country practice after, and that's when I ran into the head coach in the intersection where he was about to go on his run. He asked where I had been and why I wasn't at practice today, and I just told him the truth that I was at a club meeting. He mentioned that I could have come to practice after instead of going home right after, or I could have at least let him know that I'd be gone in advance. He was upset and for a very valid reason too. I felt so bad. It was the worst feeling knowing that you made the calmest, coolest teacher mad. Instead of running away from my problems, I should have done something about it, but I was stupid. He emailed my parents later that night and I talked to my dad about what I should do. We decided that it was probably best if I could go to practice maybe 3 times a week instead of 5, but the coach said that was a safety issue and that wasn't an option. The next day, while everyone went to warm up, I was sitting in a corner having a panic attack about how to approach the head coach and what to say to him. Probably not the best thing to do, but I'd already made him disappointed in me. I ruined everything already and I felt like there was no right way out. Plus, I was scared. My C group coach came over to me and tried to get me to tell her what was going on, and I did talk a little. She then brought over the head coach. My head was racing, but I managed to apologize first. We then had a conversation about what my plans with this team were, since I wasn't allowed to go to practice only a few days out of the week. I genuinely had no idea what I was going to say, so I said I'd think about it tonight. This small conversation was so hard for me to have because how do you face someone who has no trust in you anymore? The next day, my culinary arts teacher pulled me aside at the end of class. I was terrified that she would be upset with me too, but I realized it was quite the opposite. She told me I was brave for talking to him in person, and I was totally not cowering in a corner beforehand, and that I did the right thing. She also said that she was proud of me. Those words made me want to cry. I was so undeserving of someone else being proud of me after everything I'd done, and I knew it. But at the same time, it meant so much to me to be understood because it truly was something that took a lot of courage. She gave me a pack of Skittles after that, and I actually still have them today. I know it's just a simple pack of Skittles in someone else's eyes, but whenever I see Skittles now, I think of her and the kindness she showed me that I didn't deserve. I don't think she knew I was considering quitting, and I didn't even know how I would tell her that if I did. So it was all up to me. Either I would stay the remaining month at cross country and go to practice every single day, or I would just quit. There was no in between. And this was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made in my life. I made a whole list of pros and cons of quitting or staying. I talked to a lot of people about it. I was losing sleep over this. I felt like no matter what decision I made, I was wrong. I changed my decision 3 times, and I finally decided on quitting. This was not an easy decision for me to make. I knew there were only a few weeks left and I'd come all this way, so I could have stayed for a bit longer, but at the time I was at my breaking point and I knew I wasn't physically capable of doing my best anymore. I would have to commit to going every single day, but I didn't want to make any promises I couldn't keep. I had been in pain for so long, both physically and mentally, that I felt like I couldn't even get through a few short weeks of practice. So even though it was close, I quit. The next day, I went to talk to the head coach. I told him that I have too many things going on at once and I couldn't keep up with cross country, so I'd be quitting. He understood and asked if I wanted to run for the last time this season, and I said yes. That was the best run I've ever had throughout my entire season. About a week later after quitting, my culinary arts teacher / A group coach told me about how she would be the leader of my group today. She didn't know I quit yet, and I honestly had no idea how I was gonna bring that up, so I just stayed quiet. She asked if I was in C group to confirm, and I still stayed quiet. Then she asked, "You're still running, right?" And I said no. We then had another conversation. She said that she'd missed me and that I was so close to finishing, but she knew I spent a lot of time considering this and that it was a hard decision to make. I was so surprised someone actually understood that this decision was not taken lightly. She also said that I was talented because I was able to do so much, and although I felt like quite the opposite, it meant so much to me. She said that she hopes I can use my endurance and speed I acquired in cross country to benefit me in softball. She had empathy and understanding instead of getting upset or mad, and that was really what I needed then. I love my culinary arts teacher, and I'm so grateful to have her as a teacher and as one of the coaches as well. Looking back at everything that happened, I feel so bittersweet. Cross country was a great experience. The coaches were all so nice and supportive and understanding. The other team members would always cheer you on, and things like Secret Sister and Fun Sock Friday were fun as well. It was an amazing opportunity, and I'm glad I joined because it wasn't cross country that was the issue. It was the fact that I was merely overwhelmed. On the other hand, perhaps I made the wrong choice. Maybe I could have sucked it up and ran through the pain for a little bit longer like I'd been doing for the past few months. But now my bridges are burned and I can't go back. To conclude everything, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for the coaches, for my teammates, and for all the memories I made during my time on the team. The end. Thanks for watching. Oh, finally! It took forever.